My name is Laqurisha Ross. I work at Sophia's Way as a housing case manager, working with women experiencing homelessness. I'm a single parent with two kids. One of my kids has autism and faces many challenges in school and childcare. I have a full-time job where I make $18.50 an hour. My job is my passion, and yet I'm struggling to provide for my family. When COVID hit, as an essential worker, I received a bonus with my job. And with receiving that, I became ineligible to receive child care support. It's very hard trying to maintain life daily things as a single family household. I believe that subsidy calculators should not be focused on the gross income amount we bring in, but should include the actual cost of living that can fluctuate from month to month. Everyone has fixed monthly costs, but what happens when you are struggling to make ends meet? You end up having to make very difficult decisions like, can I afford to send my kids to childcare this month? How are we able to save for an emergency if our only means of transportation breaks down on us and we don't have the funds to get it fixed? Why? Because half of our income goes to childcare. I was given a promotion at my job, something I should be celebrating, but instead I became ineligible for subsidy and was left wondering how I would pay for childcare for two children on my income and also meet my family basic everyday needs. A list of which is too long to share given the 5 minute limit. We are struggling to pay for childcare and it seems like the system is setting us up to fail. I'm bringing this to your attention because I once was a young mother with two children, going to school full time and working full time, having to utilize the bus as my daily means of transportation at the time. It would take me 2 hours to get to work and 2 hours to get back to get my kids from daycare after getting off work. My hours had to be within the daycare hours because I couldn't afford to pay extra for childcare. I had to rely on family members that were not equipped to take on the responsibilities of a child with special needs, which caused a rift in our relationship. Please take into account that we already have enough on our plates as parents, but having to choose to be on public assistance in order to have affordable childcare is ridiculous. What feedback did you get to put these programs in place? Did these families have the options to be a part of the decision making? These programs are not working and it's clear and it's evident. Access to resources is what determines how and when I feed my family, pay for gas, how I keep my housing, and much more. This is my life. I live every day. You might not have the same burdens that I face, but I want you to take into account that the many families that you have impacted by your decisions. What I need you to do is your job and make a change. This has been going on for too long, and now these issues have been amplified because of COVID-19. Today is the day that we are choosing to speak up and be heard about our hardships that are being intensified by systems that you have created. Systems and programs that you all think are best fit for everyone. In reality, everyone's needs are different. We need to have equitable access to affordable childcare, and we need it now. If you're creating a program that claims to support all families' accesses to childcare, then do that, please. Families, and especially families of color, are suffering. I'm asking you to reevaluate the current standards for copays and how it's calculated. For a lot of families, the copay that are required to pay are untenable and not realistic. Let's create a system where families can easily afford their copayments and not have to depend on their other resources to assist with payment. We need you to create a program that is strength-based and realistic. So families and children can succeed and thrive. It is your duty to ensure the families and providers are always at the decision-making table because their lives are the ones are being affected by your decisions. The current standards that are in place, put in place for the parents' activity are at the front line of eligibility, and approval is dependent upon that. The standards that are set in place to determine which children deserve access is unfair. Not everyone is able to work or has the privilege of job security. And just because they aren't working at the time of the application doesn't give you the right to determine if childcare is needed. Childcare is a basic human right. My question to you all is, why is it looked at as a burden if a family wants their child to be in a quality learning environment? Are my family's needs any less than yours? Put yourself in my shoes. What would you do in my situation? I'll wait. Thank you.